Hi. This morning at work, I was thinking about that 1 hour, 40 something minute video I did yesterday about analyzing my personality traits and what defines me as a person. And I thought about my bucket list. I thought the two sort of go hand in hand. I had uploaded a video about my bucket list sometime back. It's private now. I may unprivatize it at some point. And I may have mentioned some things about the bucket list, but I wanted to talk about it here now because things have changed. Things have fortunately gotten better and advanced towards accomplishing these bucket items. I should first say that the bucket list is a list of items that you want to accomplish before you kick the bucket or before you die. Um, uh, I'll tell you how I came upon this bucket list. Only a few years ago, perhaps in 2019 or 2020, um, a friend asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I went on Amazon and made a wish list or a birthday list, and I listed things that could be bought, but those weren't really commensurate with a birthday, especially as I'm getting older in years. I really wanted big changes in my life. So I came up with 10. I didn't try to make a list of 10, but it just came out that way. And then I came up with lesser or weaker ones, less important bucket list items, and I think those came up to around 10 as well. So maybe there's something in my mind that just comes up with groups of 10. Jewish aspect of me. um, So I did this from memory. I'm not working from an earlier list. I'm not working from that earlier list. I think these are close to 10. I put career here. I put career, which is basically something better than the two part-time jobs I have now. Something sustainable, something with higher income, something where I can express my creativity. Uh, in that earlier bucket list, I remember putting in. I think that's how it came out to 10 because I had two. I had uh, a film career and I had a better job. Yeah, that's how it came out. So there were actually two of them. So I'm not mentioning the film career at this point, but I do want to mention I want a job that's more creative in nature, that requires more of my mind, and is higher income to allow me to afford the house, some of these other items, the house, girlfriend, um, and visiting Los Angeles, and these other things I'll mention. Um, the second thing, the girlfriend, that's that was an item that I was particularly thinking about um, this morning at work. I know I've mentioned this before. From 1994, fall of 1994 onward, maybe during that summer, I was I was reading books about dating and how to find your significant other, and I went on OkCupid, JRetromatch, who knows. The ironic thing is that I think I was mature for my age in terms of wanting a serious relationship. I was mature enough to be able to handle a serious relationship, I think. Um, and I tried. I tried dating websites. I tried uh, local groups. I went to my synagogue and I mentioned to some people that I was looking around. I think I did everything I possibly could. Um, I think it's the geography that's the problem. It's the geography and the fact that I'm looking for someone Jewish. Um, and it doesn't seem like there's anybody around. It's like some mysterious gate or some mysterious trick. It seems almost like you're guaranteed. You're supposed to be guaranteed to have some significant other, and I don't. It's like I'm something has failed me, um, and that's how it's felt. Um, but I kept some key elements that I wanted in a girlfriend. You know, when you write a bio or profile on a dating site, I am such and such, and I'm looking for this in a partner. Um, I would, for the age range, I would put a wide age range of 10 years older than I am. Well, not really 10. After a while, I put 10 years older than I am to 10 years younger than I am. Um, but I had Jewish as definitely one of them because if things got serious, I don't want to be caught in a relationship where I want to force it on someone to feel that she must convert. Um, and I want to have a partner who is Jewish so that I don't feel this disconnect in that religious aspect because Judaism is an important part of my life. I want her to be conversational. Um, as I was thinking of writing this, I thought about perhaps mentioning women that have inspired my image of what a girlfriend should be, my ideal girlfriend should be, or my I don't want to say necessarily my ideal, but a girlfriend that would be attractive to me. Um, she would be conversational. In other words, she would be able to hold a conversation and add ideas and inject ideas and not just say, "Oh, that's nice," or barely contribute anything to the discussion or talk or whatever. Just have stuff to say. That's nice, and I also have compassionate. I'm very attracted to somebody who is um, compassionate and sweet, however you define sweet. Basically, compassionate, sweet, nice, gentle, understanding, um, interested in sex, comfortable about sex. Um, I have okay, let me see how I can like phrase this so it comes out natural and healthy. Um, I'm sexually attracted. I'm not a horn dog, but um, I mean um, I like to be intimate in terms of bonding with somebody, not necessarily with sex, just talking and getting to know somebody and becoming familiar with that other person as a person and like thinking about that other person. Um, I have that. I probably have that later down here. Um, and then I have certain like fetishes and so forth, and I'm open about that. I mean, I'm comfortable about that, and I like to express it. Um, the She should also be comfortable with me being a cross dresser. Um, she should also be comfortable with me with um, a mertail. I bought a custom made merman tail Um, but she should be comfortable with the fetishes I have, basically. She should be curious about the universe, curious about learning, curious about just have an open mind and be intellectually curious about things. Um, we should be on the same energy level. I um, tend to be intense. I'm not intense to the point of making people nervous. I'm deep and I'm passionate. Maybe that's a better word for it. I'm deep and I'm passionate and excited and full of energy. And she should be the same. Um, I able to bond intimately. I already said that before, and it's not necessarily in a sexual way. Um, just able to be deep and want to bond with somebody, and have common interests. Um, so those are the elements that I'd like to have in a girlfriend. Um, and that I don't think that that's asking a lot. Again, I think it's been the fact that I'm not in a big city and I'm Jewish, and it's just rare to find someone, I guess. Um, I have next Madonna. I have in my earlier bucket list meeting Madonna and some things. Basically, uh, instinctively, just raw. I'm just telling you in a raw way. Wanting her appreciation, not appreciate, wanting her good appraisal, like you're going to somebody you looked up to and hoping that they would recognize and say good things to you about your talents. Um, that's really what I was looking for. Um, I don't know how she would be in person. I can take a guess, and I'm now um, I've spent like maybe 20 years um, thinking that she would be um, thinking that an encounter like that with her um, would be very happy and joyful. Um, but I've sort of overcome that, or I've outgrown that, and I don't know if I don't really, I guess, see as much of a point in meeting her now. Um, I think I've worked through my attraction towards her. I think um, at a younger age in college and then after college, um, she fulfilled, as I put it to somebody, something like four different things that I wanted. I was looking for like an angelic figure, like a guardian angel. There's the guardian angel aspect where um, I was lacking in life, and I wanted a better job and a career, and it was like her resources could be able to help. That's one. Two, I was looking for like a friendship with somebody smart and somebody artistic and creative, like a like-minded artistic creative person. There's that. Secondly, and then thirdly, she's very attractive. So I guess there were three things. Yeah, I guess there were three things. Um, but as I've grown older now, where I am now, um, I guess she is a separate person. I've always known she's a separate person. I don't want to sound like I I'm like a little doggy, leaping up at her or something. Like I'm not like addicted to her or anything. I know I had these desires, those three desires, three different kinds of desires. Um, the resources I could get elsewhere, um, and the nice art, creative, artistic, the nice creative, artistic person, the creative, artistic person, the fellow creative, artistic person. It's the same desire to meet Steven Spielberg. Same thing with Madonna. Um, and and this is a key thing. There are other celebrities that are creative and artistic that I would like to meet as well. It's not just Madonna. Um, I guess I just focused it on her early on and stayed with it. Well, partly because of the Madonna, largely probably because of the Madonna movie project. Um, I think that's what kept me focused on her. But but I could fulfill that in other ways. And then girlfriend. Um, I that's another item on my list. Finding a girlfriend. Um, and the I put mertail. So finally swimming in a mertail. I I remember mentioning this in one of my earlier videos. I I've had an attraction to mermaids, a deep attraction to mermaids. That's one of my fetishes. There are fetishes and then there are kinks. And somebody defined the difference. I think it's a kink that's a particularly. I got to come up with a different word. It's weird. It sounds like I'm slurring my words, and I'm not. I I mean I don't know why particularly is so hard sometimes to say. Um, anyway, um, back to the mertail. Attraction to mermaids, a kink. My kinks in general, I might as well mention because nobody's watching this. Um, Contortion. I wanted to be a contortionist, and I'm attracted to contortionists. There's that sexual aspect too. Um, and mermaids, I want to swim as a mermaid. Or merman, and I want to wear a tail. And I'm also attracted to mermaids. Um, and cross dressing. I'm attracted to, especially visually attractive women, and I want to dress up as one and experience what it's like. So anyway, as I recall, last October 31st of 2015, um, I signed a contract to have a custom mertail made, and I gave the mertailer, the costume creator, my specifications, my design for what it should look like, and I wanted it painted to match my skin tone and color, and I designed it to look like a dolphin tail, to be realistic looking. And then I got it around, well, sometime in 2016, early 2016, I think. Um, and I never had a chance to wear it. I've put it on slightly with, it was tricky. It's a silicone tail. And it's still I still have it. It's in the other room. Um, but one of my fantasies is to be able to actually swim in it. And that is also a good reason to lose weight and get a trimmer waistline. Um, House. is the next item. Um, and I had thought of I years ago, sometime in college, perhaps shortly after college, I thought of what I would want in my dream house. I would want an entertainment center, I would want a whole like living room or a whole separate room for watching movies and films and television. I'd want a very advanced entertainment center with music and high fidelity sound and subwoofers and like basically a theater, an advanced high tech theater. And I want a swimming pool, preferably an indoor swimming pool, so that I can, swim in my Mertail or whatever. I don't have to deal with outside weather. I don't have to deal with outside onlookers. Um, I love to swim um, since a very, very, very young age. Um, and I also want some kind of a study room with a library, and it would be something of an office um, because I do a lot of writing. Um, so I've got that in the holodeck. Yes, advanced kitchen with uh, advanced technology. The refrigerator would be advanced. It would have an ice machine built in. There would be one of those countertop tables with a computer screen that would enable you to um, look up recipes and so forth. It would be very technologically advanced. Um, and the holodeck. This is something in Star Trek. Um, I know this is fictional, but bear with me for a moment. In Star Trek: The Next Generation and other series created since the premiere of that series, there's this thing called the holodeck. It's a room where where holograms could be projected against the wall, and what they call, I think it's protomatter or hollow matter, um, could be generated that would allow you to interact with people. Basically, you step into the room, you tell the computer, um, San Francisco, California, 1961, and there would be this hologram, this illusion. The room would then look like somewhere in San Francisco in 1961, and you could walk around it, and there would be no sense that you're standing in a room somewhere. You would have the sense that you're walking around in San Francisco. So I wanted something like that. I wanted something underground, or perhaps the interior of the house itself would be designed to look like a replica of the Enterprise D from Star Trek The Next Generation. And the living room would look like the bridge. You'd have a wide view screen where you could watch movies. The video player system would be hooked into, I mean, disguised, worked into the furniture, modeled after the set in the Star Trek: The Next Generation, and where they have the holodeck on the set. That I drew a map. I like to draw maps of television shows, like Married with Children and Night Court, so forth, of the sets. It was a curving corridor, and then there was one set that was a curving corridor that had the basic rooms, engineering and sick bay and so forth, and then there was a separate set that was just the bridge itself. So that's my fantasy house, and I thought for the holodeck, I'd like to have a room modeled after uh, like an ocean, not an ocean, like a beach. Um, you'd have water, you'd have like some area where you could pour sand. You'd have something like a what do they call it? A planetarium. The ceiling could be darkened, and then you could have stars in certain patterns be projected on the ceiling, or you could have a sky projected on the ceiling. I think you get my idea. That would cost quite a bit of money, but it's my fantasy house. Um, and the next thing, meet cousins. Now, fortunately, I've advanced in this. I've made progress. Um, when I was just starting out, um, I had barely had any conversations, maybe one phone call, something like that, or a couple of phone calls with my cousin and then his son. But since then, I'm very happy to have talked on Instagram, messaged on Instagram with his wife, and I've talked to him maybe a couple more times on the phone. And the most important thing is that I trust that, well, first of all, they weren't a part of my life up until like after, shortly before my mom died. Like there was that transition point in the final couple of years of my mom's life. And then after that, I continued to reach out to them. And um, now I'm happy that there's some sense of trust that they really do want to include. They accept me as part of their family, and they talk with me, because that's something very important. I don't have anybody left. My mom is dead. Both my parents are dead. Her brother, my uncle, is dead. I don't have any siblings. I'm the only one living in this area. Um, so that means a lot to me, to be able to have them as still part of a family, extended family. Um, so my bucket list item was to develop a stronger bond with them. Um, I guess they can't really replace my parents, um, but I want a stronger bond in the sense that um, I want to be able to ask them questions about family history. And although there are other friends I could go to for support and consolation when I'm sad or going through something, um, I like to go to them too. Um, and then there are smaller items. Those are the major ones on my bucket list. And then I have uh, travel through Los Angeles. For the longest time, it wasn't New York that I wanted to live in. It was Los Angeles. I I always wanted to be a television writer. Uh, I've probably mentioned this before. I mean, no doubt I've mentioned this before in one of these videos, at least one of these videos. Um, it went in phases. Um, Sometime in late elementary school, meaning after I was in Wetzel Road, um, and when I had moved into Liverpool um, Elementary, uh, I had enjoyed television. I didn't necessarily, that'd be an interesting thing to probe. I enjoyed television, I respected it, and I saw it as an industry. I saw it as some creative endeavor. I saw it as a work of art. Um, I didn't necessarily want to write for it. I wasn't necessarily thinking of it as a career. I just enjoyed it, and I wouldn't think of anything else. It's like offhand, off the top of my head, just as an example, like some girl thinking about ballet. Like um, she may enjoy seeing ballet. She wouldn't necessarily think of it as a career, but she enjoys watching it, and maybe above anything else, if she had her free time to do anything she wanted, she would go watch ballet or try practicing ballet. The same thing with me. If I had, uh, if I could pick anything in the world, I would enjoy just sitting and watching television or talking and talking about television. So in middle school, that's when I began um, writing scripts or starting to write scripts. Anyway, I could go on. And then in high school, I became more serious, and I thought of myself as writing scripts and good enough that I could be able to be hired and move to Los Angeles, or somehow be in Los Angeles and then um, get hired uh, to write on a TV show, and then eventually create my own TV series. And I've mentioned those TV series in an earlier episode. I didn't mention all of them because I was working off memory. I realized after recording that video that there was another TV series, What If? Um, it would be a series something like Twilight Zone. So I just wanted to mention that, and this is a good opportunity to add. Yeah, there's another one called What If. All right. Um, so in college, I began writing film scripts, um, and all the while, in high school. I expected to have a career in Los Angeles and live in Los Angeles. It just seemed inevitable and planned out in my mind. And then in college, that's when the first frustration or annoyance, I'll say dismay, because frustration seems like a stronger word than what I was feeling. I was feeling dismay. Um, why can't I move out there? I still have to stay in this area where I am. Um, so that's on my bucket list, to at least travel around Los Angeles, because I love the area so much. Um, and then also visit a haunted house, well reputed haunted house, not something made up just for Halloween. But I've been fascinated by ghosts, and I want to witness one myself, just to say that number one, that there is a phenomenon, and number two, to observe how it behaves. Um, because from my vantage point now, I'm just relying on witness testimony, and there's a lot of bias, there's a lot of room for error and hyperbole and who knows what. So ultimately, I would want to take a tape recorder. I'd want to ask questions. I'd want to actually interview the ghost. Um, I'd want to observe what happens, so forth, all that. Um, and I also want to develop skills as a contortionist. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. I am able to sit cross-legged, like in like what they would call a yoga meditative pose. And when I was around 18 or 17, um, I began being able to put my at least one leg behind my head, and then sort of get the other one there too. And I remember talking to somebody in school, um, saying that I had cut ice cream out of my diet. I think I said like for a year. And then she laughed and she said, "Well, I'm glad you told me that, Jeff." And that was a nice moment. Um, so there's my bucket list, what I remember. I'm glad I'm through with this. It's Friday, and it's 19:01 p.m., whatever that is. I guess that would be 7:01 p.m. So I'll get on with the rest of my Friday and enjoy my Saturday and so forth. So until next time, thanks. Bye.